Hey guys, it's Lay. Just jumping in, I just finished editing the podcast episode and I really wanted to include a trigger warning before this episode and also apologize for the lateness of it. I was sick for the past few days with a sore throat, and honestly, I just been very out of it this week, but I still wanted to get it at least up before the next open when letter. But most importantly, I just want to let you know that with this episode, we are going to be talking a lot about triggering topics, such as like weight loss, nutrition, and things that pertain a little bit more into diet and stuff like that. If that topic is triggering to you, please, for your mental health, you don't have to listen. And also, is more importantly anyways, to mentally glow up. And honestly, when it comes to a physical glow up, there are kind of like different phases that happens and stuff like that. But I just wanted to give a trigger warning just to make sure everyone who's listening, because while yes, a physical glow up is nice, it's also more important to be healthy in every way possible and for people to have self-esteem that relates outside of how they look. And without further ado, if you do end up listening to this, I hope you enjoy it and I hope it helps you, because I am always trying to put out content that supports people's dreams, and if this is a part of it, it's a part of it. Hello, welcome back, or welcome to an episode of A Little Atypical. My name is Leja, you can call me Lay, and today we are continuing our little mini series about glowing up. Last week we talked about the mental glow up, and this week we're going to talk about the physical glow up. And with this one, I tried to do as much research as possible because I wanted to see what was already said about glowing up physically and kind of like talk about it in a way that I haven't seen it talked about before. So I'm very excited for this episode. To start off, we always got to start off with some gratitude. So as you guys know, if you keep up with my blog, I've been just really into my gratitude practice. And for specifically this week, I am very grateful for my ability to practice detachment, because for the longest time, I felt like I was always emotionally invested into things. So every situation always felt like the end of the world to me. But through some development and like setting boundaries, I just got so much better at practicing the art of detachment, and it just makes me feel so much lighter, so much better. And honestly, if I didn't have that skill, this weekend would not have went over well for me. Next thing is our good experience of the week and learning experience of the week. So for our good experience of the week is I'm very happy that I've been very consistent in creating content and just even like my health journey, and I feel so empowered to keep moving forward and very motivated and very inspired. But along with that, my learning experience of the week is I'm kind of struggling still getting used to this whole new format that I'm working on, and I now know that I need to strategize a little bit better about how I create content. So what I'm planning to do is do things a little bit different this week so I can improve the quality of my content. Specifically, I want to be better with the lifestyle design videos, because I feel like I have a lot to say, but I don't know how to express it in a way that keeps the video entertaining. And my, I guess, hardest thing about like that is developing my own editing style that really works for me, but that also doesn't like stress me out to a point that then I just give up altogether. So that's gonna be like my very big thing this week, because I'm so excited for what comes out. By the time you're listening to this, it should be up, but this week I wanted to work on vision boards because I just want to do all New Year's content, all glow up content, because that's just what I'm feeling, you know? Oh, and since I didn't do this last week, but our tarot card of the episode was the Star, and I felt like that was just like one of the best cards we could get, because I feel like the Star card, if I am correct, is all about hope and kind of like aligning with your highest self. I think it happens, if I'm correct, it happens like after the Tower, which is like when things like kind of like fall apart for a person. So the Star card in tarot represents new hopes and the splendid revelations for the future, insight, inspiration, courage, enlightenment of the spiritual self. It's essentially about renewal. And I feel like since we're talking so much about glowing up, like there couldn't have been a better card to get. I'm very excited to hop into this episode, and let's begin. So the first way to physically glow up, I know I say this in so many episodes, but really I just want to stress the importance of self-awareness. So the first thing, of course, is going to be understanding yourself. And when I say this for a physical glow up, I'm talking about knowing your skin type, knowing your hair type, knowing your metabolism rate, remembering what things you have control of within your schedules, knowing what things you already love about yourself. And the things you love about yourself, you either want to like leave alone or emphasize with your glow up. You need to understand, are you a morning person or are you a night person? And if you have a job, do you work a morning shift, afternoon shift, day shift? You need to understand your face shape, etc., etc. You also need to understand what are your interests, and see how you can tailor your glow up to really align with yourself. Because for me specifically, I had to relearn a lot of things about myself. For example, like my skin type used to be oily, but since I became an adult, it got drier and is not as acne prone as it once was. Honestly, I had to like develop a new way of taking care of my skin. I also need to understand like my hair type, understand like my weak points. Like for example, one of my biggest like weak points with glowing up is drinking water. I struggle to drink enough water, and I constantly try to remind myself, even though I know it's the best thing for me and I know it would help a lot with everything else, but it's something I just deeply struggle with. And it's not that I'm drinking juice or soda or any other alternative, really, besides like sometimes I drink tea at night and whatever, but like I just genuinely forget to drink something. Like it's not even that I am just drinking other things like sugary things, because that's not the case either. It's just I forget to stay hydrated. Understanding those little things about yourself, it helps you understand what products you even need, what things you should look into. So this is gonna connect to my second point, because since I'm just explaining like the self-awareness aspect, it doesn't make sense for me to go on and on about this. It's something I emphasize because the thing about glow ups is it's so personal that without knowing yourself and knowing what you have been doing and what's causing it not to work, what does work for you and what is keeping it from working. So the first one connects to everything else. So on to the next thing, which is health and hygiene. I'm putting both of those together because I feel like health and hygiene are just the bottom line of glowing up. Like it's literally the foundation. And in terms of like health, that just includes things like getting enough sleep. This is something I struggle with, even though I have been trying things like chamomile tea. I've tried melatonin before, but I just didn't like the dreams it gave me and it freaked me out. So melatonin was a no. I can never pronounce the name of it, but it's like, I'm gonna butcher this. So if you're listening to this, like, just like don't laugh at me, but I think it's like ashwagandha. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I hope you know what I'm saying. It's supposed to be good for sleep too. And for a while I was taking that, but I think I got too used to it, then it just wasn't as effective. Or maybe I should try again because it's been a while since I tried that. And then I also tried like lemon balm tea because also besides the fact it's like a stress relief thing, it was also said to be good for my PCOS. And that's another thing that's including your health, like understanding like your own health conditions, which is really important, which is why like paying attention to like things like your blood tests and like the tests you do. Because with mine specifically, like my doctor said I was healthy, but he thinks that I need to lose some weight. And I was telling him like when I went to my GYN, because this was like the first time I went to a GYN, that she said I have high testosterone levels and that most likely I have PCOS and everything because the high levels of testosterone is like a sign of it. He said something along the lines of it's because of the weight gain that I developed PCOS, but I don't know if that's actually how it works. Because I always heard like the opposite, whereas if you have PCOS, it does cause you to struggle to lose weight a bit. But I never heard like the opposite version, so that was like the first time I heard that. And so from there, I was just like working on my nutrition and getting back into fitness. With nutrition and fitness, that I feel like those two things are like the trickiest to work around, because I feel like with, for example, at least for me, working out isn't the hard part. It's the nutrition. But because as long as I'm eating right, I think I feel energized and motivated to work out, because like it's kind of like a game to me sometimes. And I always liked doing like low impact, which is why I spend more time working out, because I'm not a gym girly. I'm a at-home workout girly because I'm a homebody. So my workouts, this is my current workout routine, is I work out for an hour and 30 minutes in the morning. Like pretty much it's like the second, third thing I do. Like when I wake up, I take care of myself in whatever way I need to. Then I make the bed and I like change and get ready to work out. And I've been kind of like testing my workout plan and fitness journal that I wanted to develop for girls like me who are homebody girlies who are not gym rats. This may be a controversial opinion, but I don't think in order to like glow up and do the fitness part that you have to go to the gym. I talked about this in previous episodes. If you hate the gym and you're not comfortable with it, I don't think you should force yourself to do something you hate that you know that you won't be consistent with. And if eventually like you get to a point where like, yeah, I think I want to try something new, and I've been like exercising for a while, I feel confident in my fitness ability and I just want to change it up, that's like good. And like obviously do that. But I feel like if you are very deeply uncomfortable and you know that attempting like it won't be sustainable, that you should do what you're comfortable with first before jumping into something completely different. Because at this point, I'm just trying to build consistency, but I do think like eventually I would want to go to a gym and do like workout classes just for like the social aspect of it and to find more like-minded people. But I digress on that one. Nutrition wise, I've been eating in a very specific time frame. I eat from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is like kind of a version of the intermediate fasting. I know people usually do it at different times, but I felt like those times were the most effective for me because I feel like I still need breakfast. But if I stop eating too early, like I won't feel good. Therefore, I just set it up as those times because I felt like those are the times I could be consistent with. And continuing with nutrition, I've been trying to add more protein into my meals and more fiber into my meals. And I still eat carbs and I still eat what I'm craving, but I'm also practicing the most portion control. And that's been really helping me. And then I've been trying to also balance out my hormones with the foods I eat, which is why I'm literally have cinnamon tea on the side because I heard that it's also good for PCOS. So, yes. And I think I covered pretty much everything. If I didn't say get enough sleep and drink enough water, both of those things I struggle the most with. And moving on to hygiene, that's specifically about your shower routine. Like for me personally, I know, again, this is another controversial take, that I believe in daily showers, but I also work out frequently and I don't have like a skin condition. So to each their own, but I believe like I feel better showering every day because I know some people are like, it dries out your skin. But also that's why lotion and oils and stuff exist to add back moisture into your skin. But I digress on that one. Hair care. I've been so much more intentional with my hair care routine because as someone who never really took care of their hair, I always had my hair in protective styles and I was always getting it done in the salon, but like everything is so much more expensive now. And I also want my natural hair to grow out. I've been having maintenance days and knowing what days are my wash days, what days I like re-oil my hair, how often like I wash it, like stuff like that, which is like I technically wash my hair on Mondays. I don't think it's healthy to wash your hair every day, and I don't think I need to because if I did, that would just dry out my scalp, and I already have dry hair. Also, continuing with that is like your oral hygiene, brushing your teeth. One thing I really want to get into is oil pulling, but the thing is I haven't been able to find the rinse one because I know people do with like coconut oil and stuff like that, but to me the coconut oil feels very thick and I would just rather like one that's like a little more liquefied. Skincare, again, I briefly mentioned this, but like when I was talking about skin type, knowing if your skin is sensitive, oily, dry. My skin is like in a very weird place, but even I went to the dermatologist and he's like, honestly, like continue doing what you're doing because there's very few acne and most of the scars I believe went away too. So my skin has been doing so much better, and also shaving, and also in general understanding like if this is something I hear people talk about a lot, but everything showers, I would say that's also part of step 2. Next, number 3 is designing your space to build habits. Because since health and hygiene are like the foundation, your space has to allow you to build good habits. One of my favorite books I've read on my self-development journey was Atomic Habits by James Clear. I read it like, I think it was the end of 2021, but I really was able to apply it this year because since I graduated, my structure is a lot different and I can be more intentional. Making sure your room is clean and having like cleaning routines and having a place for everything will allow you to have better habits. And I also think like if you're a home workout girly, that's like one of the most important things you can do, because a lot of times I would make an excuse like, oh, my room is too disorganized for me to work out and I can really hurt myself, and I make an excuse to not work out. But now it's like the floor is always clean. I have like my scheduled cleaning days and it's just keeping me on track for my physical glow up. Number 4, creating schedules and routines. Kind of going off of the last one, but being very intentional with your schedules and very intentional with your morning routines and night routines will upgrade you so much, because now I have a set morning routine where it's like make the bed, work out, have a coffee, take a shower, do whatever work I'm supposed to do, and then have breakfast. That is my morning. And then my evening routine, I'm still working on building because it really depends on how much I finish in the day. Most of the time, it's like revolves around making content. So, and because I built it, I have noticed so much more results in my mood and my energy, which keeps me on track of physically glowing up. Number 5 is something I'm still continuously working on, but creating your signature self, which is like learning to style yourself, learning to have a signature makeup look, having a signature scent, like things that make you you. Because I also think like once you have that in your look and your vibe, that you're kind of able to not think about it, not overwhelm yourself, and you're also the most confident and comfortable version of yourself. And if you're confident, you show up differently. Your energy is different, and the way you carry yourself is different. So that's why having like a signature self will upgrade your physical glow up. I personally like using astrology to help me with this one, but I feel like there are different ways you can do this. Like, I think there's something called like a KB style. You can like do things based off of like your seasonal colors. Kibbe style, you can do it off of astrology. You can use so many different tools to build your signature self. And I think this is, out of everything, like the funnest part of glowing up physically. And that you should definitely try it. Moving on to number 6, limit people's access to you. This kind of goes to what I was saying about detachment and stuff like that, because this one is really about detachment and boundaries. The thing is, when you're trying to glow up, who you have around you also matters, because if you're trying to glow up, sometimes people will look at you because of your goals and look at you kind of crazy. And it's kind of like, oh, why are you doing that? Like, I'm not going to say experience that I personally had, but like I know a lot of people do. Like, let's say like part of your glow up is to stop drinking. And if you have friends that love to drink and that's like the main way you socialize, then it's going to start being uncomfortable because you'll see who really supports you and who really doesn't. Even like having friends who kind of project their insecurities is not the best to have when you're trying to glow up. And I'm not saying that you can't be friends with people with a negative mindset or that you have to abandon all your friends. I'm just saying that you're on different timings than them, and it's gonna eventually get harder to have like a connection. If someone is trying to improve themselves and another person is kind of like not in that season, they're not going to understand what you're doing. And then it would just kind of be like this friction and uncomfortableness between you. But that doesn't mean you have to stop being friends. It just means you need limitation in the shortest sense. Last but not least, look for what helps you be consistent and track your progress. This goes back to what I was saying about my good experience of the week, because I've been so consistent with my digital journal that I designed, and it's been really helping me bottom line reach my goals, even though I'm still not doing things 100% perfect. I'm still showing up for myself, and I think that's very important. And I'm still working on the way to track whichever way is best. For some people, this may look like using progress pictures to track if that's what they need to do. But for other people, it may be more beneficial to like keep journal entries so you can track like the emotional impact it's having on you. Like if you feel more energized, if you feel more confident, and use feelings to keep you going. Some people may need actual numbers, but in my experience, if I look at actual numbers, that's how I fall off, or that I start getting impatient with what I'm trying to do. So the thing that works best for me personally is relying on how I feel. The thing that keeps me going with trying my goals is that I know I feel good, and that when I get to where I'm going to be, because honestly, at this point, it's like no other option but to be successful with the goal. So that feeling pushes me to keep going forward, because I know that I would feel comfortable in my skin once everything happens. I guess that's something I'm gonna close off with. This is going to be like a strange or a triggering take, and I probably should include a trigger warning in the beginning of this episode, which I might just add in. I think that there is kind of this energy around wanting to change yourself that some people believe is toxic. But even when I say I want to be confident and feel good in my skin, it's not coming out of a place of necessarily insecurity. It's coming from a sense like I know that when I do feel insecure, that I'm more in my head, and it's hard for me to show up efficiently and effectively. And physicalness, the physicality is also a part of that. Like, I remember being in college, and because I didn't really have time to take care of myself, I was starting to feel lower and lower, to a point where like I was like actually upset being in classes, even though I liked my major. And the thing is, I'm not telling people that's how they need to feel. Like, I don't think everyone needs to feel beautiful to be comfortable in their skin. But I'm talking from my experience that I know how I work. And it goes back to number one. I know how I work. And I would never judge someone for not wanting to improve themselves. But I know that if I'm not doing all that I can to be the version of myself that's like happiest, then I feel like I'm letting myself down. To end off on a really positive note, if you are trying to glow up, and as long as you're doing it 100% for you, because you know you deserve to live your best life and be the most happy, secure version of yourself, that's all that matters. And as long as you're working on your mindset and working on this in a way to be sustainable and not putting yourself at risk, keep going for it. Because that's what I want my content and my channel to be all about. Because we are on a mission to just live our dream lives. I know that kind of sounds cliche. I know there's like millions of people who talk about glowing up. But I want every one of you to have a glow up and live your dream life in the most personalized way possible. So, yes, in this episode, I gave more insight about the things I've been doing, but I gave such vague advice so you can figure out what works for you. If you are a night owl, you don't have to wake up early in the morning for you to... As I was saying, if you are a night owl, you don't have to wake up early in the morning. Maybe just try to at least wake up in the afternoon and make the first thing you do be a workout. Get your body moving. Make sure you're still doing stuff during the day. Make sure you have a balanced eating time. Because maybe you can wake up earlier. Maybe you want to wake up earlier. And maybe you could do it little by little. you know? Start with what is in alignment with you before you make drastic changes, because if you push yourself too far off the deep end, you're gonna break. I know not everyone does, but that's how it becomes toxic. Because even for me personally, I think I grew up in high school, and it wasn't just like puberty, it was like the style, the makeup. And even though I was like, I guess, pretty, even though I never felt pretty, but then that was like a time where I got the most, I guess, compliments and like stuff like that, and getting the most, I guess, flirted with, even though I didn't necessarily register it as flirting because my lack of social cues. And at the time, because I was insecure, I couldn't even recognize someone was flirting with me. But I glowed up, but it wasn't sustainable because I grew up for the wrong reasons. And I'm at a place in my life that I'm doing it 100% for me. And it's not because there's anyone out there making me feel insecure. I know what I want. And if you want to glow up and you know why, and you know how to do it in a way that's safe and sustainable for you, that is all that matters. Okay? So keep glowing, keep shining. Your homework for the week is to check out some of my videos to kind of like practice and understanding yourself better and set your goals. Because like I said, by the time this comes out, it is going to be Thursday, and the day before I usually post a lifestyle design video, and this week happens to be vision boards. So I'm going to give you a step-by-step process on how to make a vision board, and one that's full of intention, and kind of like tell you ways you can track it. Have a good day, evening, or night. I hope you liked this episode. I'm sorry if it sounded a bit rushed. I really am trying to not talk for an hour. Don't forget to, if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, don't forget to follow, rate, review, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye.